All right. Start out with roll call. You want to do roll call? No? All right.
Stacy Zeidler.
Jim Milne.
Dave North and John Hatcher will be out tonight. I haven't heard anything from Peter on the phone yet, so so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Start out with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have a motion for approval of the July 30th minutes?
I would move to approve them as amended, the ones that were posted online. Comment at the bottom, and that was removed.
Okay. All right.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so moved.
Aye.
Discussion. Eagle Scout project for the bridge.
Austin Burgess with Central Wyoming Trails Alliance, and I have Jacob Rubel, which is the Eagle Scout that is going to be asking to do the project. I'm going to go ahead and start the proposal. Let me hand you out some documents, and I'm going to give one to the Parks Director as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as you know, we've been doing a lot of work up on Casper Mountain and working under the umbrella of the Kalen Master Plan, which is that County Commissioner approved master plan to help address trail issues, infrastructure issues, and stuff like that up on Casper Mountain. There's a lot of things that have been found that were not included in that plan, and this actually is another one of them, which is a bridge connector and a new trail, again, to get pedestrians and cyclists off of Struby Loop. We have a couple trails that actually drop down to the bottom, the very bottom of Struby Loop, over really close to the Braille Trail. And the only way that they can get out is riding the road. Well, they either have to ride against traffic or with traffic and do a connector almost clear up onto the pavement to be able to safely navigate that. So what this project is proposed to do is to provide a pedestrian and bicycle access up into the what's called the minor loop, or the maze system for the skiers, if you're a skier and know that a little bit better, which is a trail network, a beginner trail network system that actually originates at the new trail center. So what this bridge would include is a, as it stated in the plan, is a 30-foot. It's more of a boardwalk style bridge. It follows the Forest Service spec. Actually, we're well exceeding the Forest Service spec on the bridge as far as the load requirements and stuff like that. The free span of the bridge is pretty low, but it does go over that Elkhorn drainage down at the bottom of that campsite. I think it's campsite number 6. It's tucked around the corner. It actually starts at the Braille Trail parking lot, kind of tucked out of the way. And there's a user trail, and actually we had the opportunity to walk that trail system with our board president as well as Michael Brown as well, to look at the trail concerns over there and to see what needs to be addressed. And there's definitely, we need to address some erosion fall line trail that's over there, and that this particular bridge connector and new trail that is proposed in this plan is included in that. The big question is, how much is this going to cost? It's going to cost the county zero. We have operating dollars within Central Wyoming Trails Alliance to do the trail. And as an Eagle Scout project, I'm going to turn this over to Jacob here in just a sec. He will be doing 100% of the fundraising and providing that to the community under the auspices of the Eagle Scout program. So is there anything you want to add, or if you guys have any questions?
Just out of curiosity, even though the county's not paying for it, what is the estimated cost on this?
Estimated cost of materials on the bridge is going to be about $5,000. The estimated cost on trail construction is going to be around $15,000. And those are estimated costs. This will be a machine-built trail, so we can get it cut in fairly quickly. We do have other volunteers that are interested in helping out with this. It's right off the road, so it's pretty easily accessible. And trail finishing will be done by hand, so that's actually the most labor-intensive part of that. It is steeper terrain over there, so using that mini excavator to do the bench cut is a vital resource to be able to get that done in a quick manner. And that is a this year project. So we're going to be, once we're done with the first phase of in the McMurray Mountain Park Outer Loop Trail, we're almost completed on that. We have some other projects to do, and then once money's raised, we can either get started on the bridge or the trail and connect it via that bridge. However, either the bridge connects the trail or the trail connects the bridge, depending on how we phase that out.
Okay, so what's your estimated start date on this?
We'll say fall of 25. I don't have an exact date because I'd be grabbing a date out of the air, and I can't answer that one right yet. But it'd likely be September.
Okay. Okay, since he's the Eagle Scout, and I know this is for a project, it's your turn.
Tell them about your project.
Just like, what about it? You'd like that?
Tell them about the bridge a little bit. Tell them about the Eagle Scouts. Why you want to do this? Why do you want to do this for the community?
Well, I mean, I've always wanted to do an Eagle Scout project. Obviously, it's the requirement to be an Eagle. The big requirement, I guess, in the end of when you're becoming an Eagle. I guess I wanted to do one in the Turner County trails for a while because, I mean, I'm a skier, I'm a mountain biker, I'm a runner. I trail run all the time, and I've always loved that area, and I've always been connected to it since I was like a little child. So it means a lot to me to do a project up there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, well, Smith
So
Trails
let me-
Alliance is
so
excited.
let me ask you this.
Okay.
What portion of your Eagle Scout to get that is this requirement?
What do you mean?
Is this a U.S. citizen requirement, or which one is it? Do you have a specific requirement that you're looking at accomplishing by doing this for the scouts?
Are you talking about like the bridge project or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the last requirements of becoming an Eagle Scout for any Eagle Scout in the world or in the U.S. is to do like a community project, and getting labor together by yourself, getting funding for it, and all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay, that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
That's I knew that was a requirement. That's the reason why I was asking.
Yeah.
Is it so you're doing this for a community project portion of it? Okay.
So yeah, do you guys have any questions? I'd love to field some questions on this. We have. Hopefully, I can answer them if you have any. We're looking for you guys to say, yeah, go ahead and go forward, raise some money, build some cool infrastructure up there like we have been. Obviously, this is a new one. This is outside. This aligns with the Kalen master plan, but this is outside the, outside the scope of that plan. But it definitely aligns again with the idea of, campground connectors and getting people off those vehicle-traveled roadways.
We have a motion.
Actually, I got a question.
Okay.
So can you describe, it's your project, so I'd like to hear from you.
Okay.
In the pamphlet, and then also what we were told was that it's going to be machine built, then hand finished. Can you describe that process just a little bit more? What you're going to use to cut? And what are you going to do with the material? That you're going to reuse it on the trail, or kind of go into the process a little bit?
So I'm actually going to answer that for him because his project is actually just the bridge is what he's doing. The second phase to this is the trail.
Well, I can come up.
So
Well, tell us
come up
that.
with a bridge question for him.
Tell us how you're going to build.
So how are you going to build the trail?
Yep.
No, okay. So how do you feel that the bridge would tie into that trail system, and what we would do with that overburden material,
Say that again.
the extra material? What do you think we would do with that when we have a bridge that's high? And we're gonna trail fill?
How are you gonna make sure both sides are level?
Just
Are you gonna use pilings, formations, what for your foundation? I mean, you're gonna just lay a couple planks across, hope for the best, or?
we'd definitely be doing like digging and like holes and stuff. Go like back up to them.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, hassle you, but you know.
Yeah, so really like we're digging like areas.
Yeah, so some of the technical information that you're asking for, obviously bridge abutments is what you're asking for, are going to be out of burial grade or a CCA treated 6x6 material. We're not going to be using any concrete in that area. The CCA burial grade material lasts just as long. It's used in the forest, so we actually site treated as well. Everything else is going to be treated material, but it's will be ground contact treated material. And as far as the layout and stuff goes, we don't exceed a 1/4 inch per foot grade on the bridge, or else it becomes needing to have traction surface on that. And that's actually all part of the USFS, or United States Forest Service requirement, which I actually have here as well. So we strictly follow that, and it actually can be used for equestrian access as well. Likely horses are not going to be going over across this one, but it is built stout enough to be able to handle, well, as you see in the pictures, it can handle our Mini X going across it, and that's what we build to, is an extremely high requirement there.
Any other questions?
I do for Michael.
Yes.
So you've walked this and everything like that. Do you see any problems or concerns for this project?
No, I don't. And with the span they're doing, meeting the Forest Service requirements, I think is a good idea. It does not require, a building permit, for the structure. So, it's fairly simple plan, but it's a solid plan. There's good landing for it on both sides. It'll be high enough above the high water for the creek, so we shouldn't have, unless we have an extreme flood event, it should not have water touching it even in the spring. And it'll be like Austin said, it'll be a good point for people to get to the Braille Trail without having to be on Struby Loop, walking or biking on that to access the Braille Trail. They can use the trails all the way from the lodge parking lot or Skunk Hollow parking lot, to access that point as well. So, I think it's a good area to have a bridge across the creek, and I think it'll overall enhance our trail system.
Thank you.
Any other questions? At this point, I would entertain.
So I'd make a motion that we allow for this project to go forward. And
I
within,
second.
within, you said year?
It will be this year. It'll be this fall. It'll be completed this fall. He's turning 18 in what? November. So it's got to be done before his
done before
18th
then.
birthday.
So I'd make a motion that we approve this project, for it to be completed by the end of this year. If not, then have them come back in front of us and re-advise us what's going on.
Okay, as far as discussion goes, I do want to follow up when it gets done later on this year.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, so moved. All right.
Thank you.
Jasper Mountain Biathlon Club. Michael, you want to start out? And then we'll have Rob come up.
Yeah, so, requested the Casper Mountain Biathlon Club to attend this meeting to kind of give us a update on where they're at with the compliance review that was done last year, what their operational plans are for the upcoming year. Possibly provide a schedule of events that may be going on, range times, just an overall update of how the biathlon club's going to be operating here in the near future with the snow season coming up. So I'm just looking forward to hearing that information so that we can all be on the same page over there.
Okay. All right. Come on up, Rob. Robin, if you'll state your name and address just for the record.
Robert Rosser, 1046 Slimmers Road.
It's all yours.
So I sent the dates that we have currently in an email to both of you and Jack, who's on the phone. Basically, we're looking at a Thanksgiving camp, which will start our programs for the season. Christmas camp as well, and then roll into the 4th and 5th grade classes that are typically February through mid-April. In addition to that, I'm committing to Saturday from 10 to 12 for open range. Should be able to do most of every Saturday, and I'll post that to the website. And I think Jack talked to Michael Brown about posting that to the park site as well. So we'll have those 2 locations to put out to the public. And then our usual June camp in early June. In addition to that, we do have, for the 3rd year in a row, there's an outdoor school down in Colorado that comes up for biathlon experience camp, and that's going to be 25 to 27 of March 2026. That's the majority of it, and there likely will be additions to that. So as far as the schedule.
So you're going to have open range every Saturday. It's going to be every Saturday.
There may be a few.
You left out the every on the email. You said each Saturday, and I just want to make sure that it was every Saturday that you're planning on doing that.
There might be a couple that I can't make for whatever reason, and I'll try to have somebody else who's an RSO pipe in, and that's one thing that's you might not be aware of is there's additional RSO requirements from US Biathlon that just started within the past 12 months or so. So they have to go through that process as well.
How is that? Is that a specific biathlon RSO
It's pretty straight.
certification, or is that just a RSO
It's
NRA? Or, I mean, will that work, or does it have to be specifically?
it's pretty easy. I mean, it can be done in a couple hours, half a day. It's not as, in depth as the NRA course and such like that.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, me being the chief range officer will meet with anybody using the range, meaning RSOs that are going to be in charge of the range. Obviously, we will go through our own club-specific requirements.
Okay. Rob, one thing that we've asked for in the past, and I haven't seen it, I'd like a list, if you'll send us a list of who your board members are.
Okay, I
Like to
believe
know.
I sent that to you, but it may have been a while.
It may have been a while, but if you'll send that to us and let us know just exactly who they are and where they're at, I'd appreciate it.
I think at the last meeting, which is over a year now, I provided that, I think is the last time.
Okay. It's more or less for the new board members up here. So,
Right, right.
okay. You got some questions?
So it's my understanding that you've been working out of the country. So who is the primary contact for the biathlon center?
In my
Club.
absence, it was Jack Harbison who's on the call right now, so.
Okay. And are you updating your website with that contact information or your Facebook page or something?
It probably wasn't on there that he is the point of contact. I was always reachable. My phone was working and checking email all the time. So if somebody reached out, as we have on the website currently, to me as the primary, I would have passed it along to Jack. So that was covered.
Are you still planning to be out of the country?
No,
Okay. So you'll be in town and be able to hold these road open range hours.
yes, ma'am.
And what are the range fees up there now?
Typical range fee is $15 a day.
Okay. And how does that compare with other facilities around the region?
About the same.
Okay.
I-
And that's for
I
like 2
called them
hours?
when
of-
we made those rates, so.
Okay. And what programs what programs did the club do in the last year?
Over the
Last ski season?
last ski season, the fourth and fifth grade class took up the majority of our time. Those classes, we have about 15 to 18 different elementary schools that partake in that. The Fort Collins group came up again for 3 days in a row. I believe Ken Mick brought the Wyoming National Guard up for some training. And then the June camp that we had previous to my leaving the country, which is a regional camp with kids all the way from Washington State, Oregon, Utah, around the whole region. We typically have between 20 and 30 kids, Colorado for sure, that come up for that. So that was the bulk of it.
Are there any plans for any competitions or races to be held up there? Because I don't think there's been any since the U.S. Nationals were here in 2023.
There are plans for that. I haven't got to the schedule this year. I just found out that, or made the decision that I wouldn't be going back over to China to coach. So I'm still putting things together. Been spending a lot of time out of state with my kids. So my full focus after next week, because we're leaving for next week too before school starts. When I get back after that, CNBC is my primary focus. So
Okay. What is your guys' fiscal year?
1st of November is when it begins.
Okay. And have you fixed all the items that were identified in the walkthrough, I think in June?
All the safety items have been addressed, but there's still more on the list that we need to do. And I wanted to potentially take the time up if we have it to speak about some of those. So
Yeah, and that's where I was going next. So go ahead, led right into that. So
the big ones, we try to prioritize with the limited amount of time that we had over the last couple of weeks and such. One thing I did over the last few days was a lot of mowing with the brush hog that we have along the pavement. Number one, a little bit of safety in regard to, we've had rattlesnakes out there, so it gives us a little bit better observation of the trail and making sure there's not one laying right next to the trail and such like that. And I've done a more extensive job this year in hopes of really pushing the November camp and facilitating good grooming by getting rid of the 3 feet of grass, and also, with the thought that it'll introduce more nutrients and we'll get even more and more green grass, which, believe it or not, it's still pretty green up there, which is a benefit of the grooming as well, because you're pushing the snow down. It makes it like an ice pack, and it lasts for a couple more weeks than if it weren't groomed, maybe more than that. So that took up a lot of time. We got rid of the tent that's been laying on the ground. That was a good idea that we had at first, but we didn't know that with 4 inches of snow, it gets pushed down to the ground. So that deteriorated rather quickly. So we got that taken out and taken to the landfill. Cleaned up by the container with excess items that we didn't need anymore. All the brass is off the firing line. Jack painted 3 out of the 4 buildings that we have there. We still need to do the timing shack. We got a new roof put on that timing shack last fall. And all the fuel is out of the fuel cubes. The batteries were taken away from the fuel cubes. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about was if we need to change location of those, my suggestion would be put them back where we had them before Mike Hagler asked to put them where they're at right now, which is in the parking lot next to just a couple small trees. If you want us to take those down, it'd be relatively easily done.
My recommendation on that, we'll just address it since it's where we're at right now, is to get with both Brian Oliver, County Fire, and Brad Morrison, with our building department here.
Okay, we'll do-
Get with them, get the approval, and go from there.
Okay.
But I want a sign off from those two on wherever it lands, so that we know where it is and that they're comfortable with it.
Sounds good.
So as long as you do that, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that they're the ones that identified that, and so
Okay.
they're the ones that need to say what needs to be done.
We also had get rid of the extension cords that the marmots had chewed up next to the timing shack, and Jack repaired the cord that also had damage done to it that leads power into the timing building at the finish line. So
Rob, what's your plan as far as getting permanent power pulled into there? I mean, instead of using extension cords.
oh no, there is permanent power already.
Okay.
Those were just for the groomer in the springtime. I park it there so that I don't have to cross the pavement when it has a little bit of snow cover on it, which we've had damage with that. It's very difficult to know. You can have 2 feet of snow on the pavement in one spot and 2 inches in the next spot. So it's, we have those cleats on our tracks. I don't have rubber tracks. That's on the bucket list for the future. So we're trying to be more cognizant of that to minimize the damage on the pavement from low snow grooming. And we also have as of 2 years ago, really quality groomer snowmobile made in Italy, double tracks on it, that is perfect for when there's an inch or 2 on the pavement. And it does a pretty phenomenal job. So we've been utilizing that a lot over the last couple of years.
Okay. What about weed control? What have you guys done about that?
They were out there earlier this year. When was that? I think it was, well, it must have been June. Yeah, I believe it was in June that they were out there and they treated it. So.
Okay.
And then I just whacked a lot more next to all the pavement and such like that. So at least they're not spreading their seeds around as much as they would in those areas. And you know, I'll probably do additional mowing prior to snow falling. So just,
Well, a lot of those thistles, you're gonna have to spray them, cause mowing them won't do it.
well,
And right now would be the time to do it.
well, they were done previously, and
I'm just saying you may not have to hit, you generally have to hit those more than once, during a year, cause that's a long process. That's a 3 to 5 year process to get rid of thistles by spraying them. And if you can get them again now, and I'd contact Weed and Pest on that and
Okay.
see if
get
they
them
can
to treat it a second time.
Yeah, cause you can treat them before they go dormant.
Okay.
That takes care of a lot of that stuff. It'll kill a lot of them.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure there are some other items that we've done, but that there is still more to do. One of the questions on the posts that are on top of the hill overlooking the range, that stack was made for future mending of the buck rail fence. So I'd like to just leave them at where they're at, because that's where we're going to need them, and it took a lot of work to get them up there. So that's answering the question that was on the report as to why they're up there and what are they for. It's for future repair, as well as some rails down below on the 2.5K junction that's visible from the range. That's the bulk of it. The other thing that came up, I understand that you guys thought those grass seed blankets were sod. They're not sod. They're grass seed blankets, and those are staples next to them to mitigate,
Erosion controls.
right.
Blankets,
Yeah. Which we had a lot in the very beginning.
Right.
And, since that time, we've been thinking about putting additional ones right behind the bumps on that where Harry and Paul Spackman cut that original trail. It's pretty eroded, and we've got one of the trails, the biking trail is coming right down there currently. So, basically, I just heard Jacob talking about the need for potential erosion control. So we'd be willing to help out with that if they need some of those blankets. They're just sitting there. They're very useful, obviously, and then you throw the seed on top of it. But he can approach me if he wants to take use of that. So.
Any other questions?
I have a few more questions. How many athletes do you have enrolled in your program?
I haven't been pushing the program currently. At the height, we had about 20 athletes. Biathlon is not huge in the States, but I'm gonna start it up again. There's been a lot going on personally over the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm at a point now to start it up again.
Well, the reason I ask is because in the operating agreement that you have with us, I was reading through that, and it says if you don't have a club going for 2 years, that's in violation of this agreement. And it seems like there wasn't really anything going on last year.
I think there's a lot going on with 400 to 500 kids going through the biathlon experience.
Okay. And so what are you going to do to recruit or promote the club and that facility?
We'll announce a meeting and basically have an hour-long meeting where we describe what we're going to offer and see what interests we have, and then go from there.
Okay. And did you have any open range hours last season? Regular scheduled range hours?
I think, I know Jack had open range. but I don't think we publicized it enough. Again,
Because it's supposed to be publicized.
right. So,
I'd like to see more of that going forward.
yeah, you will.
Okay. And then grooming, what are your plans for grooming for the year?
When it snows, we're going to be grooming as we always do. Of course, we need a grooming contract to do that. I appreciate the fact that we're here earlier in the summer. Thank you for making that happen. But that would be my ask, is that we focus on getting that nailed down as soon as possible, because obviously we can't groom without funding,
And then are you going to be logging your hours of the grooming that you're doing?
as we always do.
Okay.
The, conversation, going back to the issues or corrections. As you're completing each of those, that punch list, Michael, and this for you too, maybe more so for the new members, right? Is, get that punch list that was discussed of all the different issues. And as you complete each one, if you would let this board know, or let Michael know, and he can send the email to us, that these are being done. Part of for the concern for open hours for the range, you can post that on board there at your facility to allow the, as people drive by, they see the range.
Right.
So they can stop and see when the range is. While the range is there, or whatever, contact information, you could update or put some contact information, especially if you're going to be out of town again. Who knows what happens next month, right? So somewhere where just a communications board right there at the hut where people can drop in and say, hey, okay, this is the person I need to talk to.
Okay.
That might help also, but specifically maybe get a copy of that bullet, the punch list especially to these new guys, so they know what's going on. And then as you complete, those can be ticked off, right?
You bet.
And that way we as the board know that, there's progress going on.
Right along with that, Rob, I would also appreciate if you would send us an email on your updates, what's going on, and it doesn't have to be all the time. Once a month or something like that would be good, just so we have an idea, because we get a lot of questions.
Okay, will do.
And if we can answer those questions, it saves you from having to answer those questions again, or us just saying we don't have that answer. That is something that does help if we have those answers right up front, and we can say, look at this, or even if we can share the email with somebody and say, this is what's planned, this is what's scheduled, this is who you need to contact, and everything else. Whether that's you or Jack or whoever else, we need to have that information, just so we can share that and so we can post it as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we have some of the folks on the phone and anybody in the audience speak?
I have two more questions.
Okay, sorry.
That's great. What do you require if another entity wants to put on an event at the Bathlon facility?
$500 a day for rental of the entire facility and the timing, building, and all the equipment that goes along with that.
Okay.
Timing equipment and such, which was very expensive to purchase.
Okay. And then the fiscal year is up on 11/1. And then according to the contract, you need to submit a financial report to us within 30 years of closing your fiscal year. So I would just like to let you know I'm expecting to see that in December.
30 days, I think, not 30 years.
Or it's 30 days. Yes. But
Yeah, and then 31st of October is the end. The 1st of November is
Beginning.
the beginning, if I recall. So,
okay, so within 30 days.
yep.
Is there anybody else out in the audience that needed to speak on this, or is there anything else you wanted to add, Rob?
Especially to people on the phone that took time to be on the phone this long, I'd like to give them the opportunity. If Jack and Leif, are you still there?
Yeah.
Leif, if you could talk a minute on
I don't know, that mic does that every once in a while. Lathe, would you talk about what you appreciate best on the biathlon club and give us a little background?
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, Rob's done a really good job. I just really like going up there and skiing in the springtime. And Rob's just done a really good job of grooming that. We were able to host a camp this summer, a high plane ski camp up there this summer as well, where we roller skied on the course, and it was just set up really good. Even though I know he was out of the country, the facility was still kept up. I know Becky Wheeler went out a few times and swept the course and everything. So, people were up there helping, doing stuff that, kind of went unrecognized, but people have been up there to help. So, I'm with the trail systems up there now with the new mountain bike trail systems and everything up there. That place is just a freaking gem up there. And, yeah, I just appreciate what the county and everybody has done to kind of put this together, because I know it's not just one person that does it all. It kind of has to be a unified effort. And I think that's kind of what we need to look at, is how there's stuff being done underneath the table that we don't recognize. So, and I appreciate everybody that's doing stuff up there. So, we've got timers that are up there, people that are timing events and things. So, yeah, like I said, I think it's a gem. I've been to Soldier Hollow and I've been to Crosscut and those places that are high-end facilities, and I'm always much more welcome, feel much better when we come home to Casper and able to hang out there at the biathlon area, and not just the biathlon, but the Nordic area as well. So, like I was saying, we have a freaking cool gym, and we need to kind of realize that. So, I don't know if that's really helping, but that's just kind of where I'm standing.
Thanks, Leif.
Okay.
And then Cassidy, did you want to?
Was Jack on the phone too?
He is, but
Okay.
Cassidy.
So, I'm Cassidy Jerding. I'm the head coach for the Kelly Walsh Nordic team, and Leif is my assistant. I guess to not repeat what Leif said, where we have used that facility, obviously nothing related to shooting. We never go up there really when the range is open. But the stadium area provides unique terrain that we don't have anywhere else in our trail system, for kind of a longer flat area and good transition. So we do like to go over there a few times a year just to work that terrain. And then there are really fun trails right outside of the stadium that are steep and great turns that we like to take the kids on a few times. Where we have used that area the most, though, historically has been early season grooming. The county guys do an awesome job on the Nordic trails, but their heavier equipment requires quite a bit more snow. And so Rob or Jack in the past, they, as soon as there's a couple inches of snow, they're grooming. And even if we have to hike in a little ways, we do hike in and use some of those trails. So that's been really, really useful. I have taken kids up there to roller ski in the summer. I was involved with that High Plains camp. Now, when I take a group of kids up there, I'm not necessarily coordinating it with Rob ahead of time, and I'm not going to pay a $500 user fee. But, we've always treated it as sort of like the kids have trail passes. It's a trail system that we use. So that's how the ski team has used it. But we do appreciate that early and late season grooming. I mean, it's really invaluable to us.
Okay.
And then along those lines, the fact that the original deal with McMurray and that land swap, giving us all that beautiful property to utilize, has allowed us to put those awesome mountain bike trails around our perimeter, on the McMurray side. So, as Leif was saying, it's pretty phenomenal, and Austin does an awesome job with those mountain bike trails. I spent 11 years in Bend, Oregon, which is also known for phenomenal mountain bike trails, and these are equal to those. So, but I think we're making good use of the property that we have in the agreements that we have in place. Can we do better? Of course. And I look forward to working with all of you to make that happen. Thank you.
And just one last question. Who is on your board of directors? I know you're going to send a list, but can you just tell me who's on your board?
Yeah. Myself, Jack, Steve Hernandez, he lives down in Colorado. His wife is a longtime biathlete. Brian Price and Martha Karavitas, who works in the school district.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, mainly just for the vision of what we're going to try to accomplish this year is, there's a great local radio show on Sundays, and I would very much like to see if I can't get on that radio show to promote the McMurray Mountain Park, and specifically that biathlon venue. I think there's a lot of maybe misunderstanding, and it's probably because we haven't communicated it well enough. That park is up there for everybody to use. It's not strictly just for biathlon. And hopefully with all the mountain bike trails and everything that have been built up there, it gets more people to that side of the mountain and more exposure. But I would very much like to get on that radio show simply to promote, one of Natrona County parks and the things that we have up here, and then also that facility, because there aren't many like it in the United States.
Jack, have you reached out to K2 on that? They're pretty good
I have not yet.
They're pretty good about scheduling that stuff.
I'm just nervous about being on the radio dates, honestly. But it needs to happen. So when I get back in town, hopefully I can reach out to them and make it happen.
They're pretty eager to reach out to the community and provide that information if it's available. So I don't think you'll have any problem with getting on that. Jim?
Another resource that may be available to you, may have some ideas, somebody to reach out to help promote and to further use up there would be Advanced Casper. Get in touch with them.
Yes.
Advanced Casper's trying to get some athletes in for the Olympics for training up here right now. And so it just kind of, it'd be somebody good to get in touch with to promote that, not just within this area, but nationally.
And visit Casper right along
Okay.
with that.
That's good.
So I did visit Casper this last winter. I did not reach out to the others, so I will do that when I get back in town.
Okay, yeah, they're just down the hall from Visit Casper, and then down the hall's Advanced Casper. Talk to Chanel or Justin. They'll give you probably some good advice or some good thoughts of how we can promote that within the area and nationally.
Thank you for doing that and, or mentioning that. They've been out in the past and they made a video at one time. I don't know if it's still up on the site, but they think they did like 50 videos around, the county. And, they came out there and did a really good job, with ours. But it's interesting that you mentioned the Olympics and such like that, and I will definitely be promoting, the year and 2 years ahead of time of 2034 Olympics in Salt Lake again, because the countries will be looking for a high altitude site, and we are hands down the best high altitude biathlon facility in the world. That's no exaggeration, and it's almost the perfect number, which I've mentioned from the get-go. 7,800 feet is the perfect altitude for stimulus, not too much, not too little, and we're 7,900. So we should be able to get a lot of revenue and interest in that facility during that time period.
All right. Jack, have you got anything else?
No, sir, I don't.
All right. Jack, would you give me a call when you get back in town and I can help you set up some of that stuff too?
I will. I surely appreciate that.
Okay. All right. All right. Michael, did you have anything else? Okay. All right. Jack, we'll let you go then, you and Leith. So, and we will move on.
I have one more thing, Dave. Is that
Okay.
out of context?
Okay. Go ahead.
So, we've kind of talked a little bit about the usage year round, but, we have the Fat Fish mountain bike series that we do through the summer, and I'm on board with that. And we do one of the races at the biathlon area, and Fat Fish has brought in racers from pretty much all over the state. And this year specifically, we had at least 6 riders that came out to do that race specifically because there was new trails. And, so just to kind of give you another view, and I hate to be redundant about it, but I'm just trying to push it a little bit more. I mean, this is kind of a cool gem that you guys know of. And like Rob said, this is a facility that's one of a kind. So people know that as well. So people are coming, year round to come and check this out. So, yeah, sorry to be a little redundant. Yeah.
Appreciate the input. So, all right. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, we're going to move on to our next subject. We have established 2 meetings a month. Our second one is we're establishing as a work session type meeting that'll be held Bridge at the Parks office on the 4th Wednesday at 4:00 each month. We do have a schedule on here, but up to the board, but I would suggest that we remove 11/26 and 12/24 from those dates.
So moved.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. All right. Okay. So all in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Chairman,
Go ahead.
4 o'clock sometimes is a touch difficult. Can we move that to 5?
Yep.
At least.
If you want to do it at 5, we can do that.
It'd be easier.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. So we will move that to 5:00 on the 4th Wednesday at Road and Bridge, and we will eliminate, and right along with that, we discussed this as far as moving this meeting to 5:00 on the 2nd Wednesday as well. You guys in favor of that?
So moved.
Second,
Okay.
if we need to.
All right. All right. So we will do that. So our meetings, both meetings will be set at 5:00. One will be on the 2nd Thursday. One will be on the 4th Wednesday. Any other discussion on that? Okay. All right. And then we'll post that schedule that's adjusted approved. Mountain Trail Center.
For a while now, we've been trying to work on getting a date for an open house. We've been coming across some difficulty. We had August 9th, but there was a lot of events going on, and we were unable to get any food trucks available because they were all tied up. So I'm looking for this board to set another date. The Casper Nordic Club in October, I don't have the date. They do kind of a cleanup there, and the Nordic Club is willing to assist with the open house, kind of set up and help run it a little bit. It's my understanding I need to have some more conversations with them about that, but I'm looking for a different date. I did investigate some of the school district activities, but their schedules are hard to find. They're not quite posted 100% right now. But September, I figure a Saturday 10 to 3, but I don't know what is best. Whether we want September or we want to wait till October to have this. I know we're getting further and further out from having the building's open and operating, so we're just kind of doing an open house to advertise and let people know what it's about, what the facility is, take a look around. I'd like to have the mountain user groups, Snow Gypsies, Biathlon Club, Central Wyoming Trail Alliance, some of the running groups, the Nordic Club, have them all be able to have, at least a table with information. So if people are interested, the Lost Arrow Archers, have all of them available, if they'd like to be, to, let people know what their groups are about. Because there's a lot of things going on that mountain, and a lot of things you can sign up for and be a part of. So that's one aspect of it. And so yeah, I need to get a date so I can get a food truck, so at least there's some type of sustenance up there, I guess.
Michael, have you reached out to any of the food trucks to see if any of them would be available in late September or early October?
I have not spoken to them about dates. I have 2 different entities that would be interested in being there, but I didn't want to talk about details and dates until we had a date. So I didn't check their availability to work around them. I figure, and I don't know, maybe we can do it a different way. I'm just I'm not the party planner, and so I've been struggling with this a little bit. We have ideas for raffles and things, and having the user groups there, it'd just be kind of nice to maybe have a food truck available, since we don't have a concessionaire there. If somebody wants to come up for lunch and get something to eat while they're looking around.
You guys got a preference on dates?
No, I think it'd be, if there were already going to be people up there doing a trail cleanup day, that might be the date to pick.
We can find out what day that is.
Okay, I believe it's early October. Mr. Tyler may know that date.
On behalf of the Casper Nordic, my name is Keith Tyler, 6013 River Bar Drive. On behalf of the Casper Nordic Club, we'd like to offer to help with this event by sponsoring the food. We'll arrange to get a barbecue, cater up there, and make food available at a very nominal charge. That way the food part's taken care of. October 11th works well because that's the date for the Nordic Club to normally do their kickoff for the year, and they do a little cleanup, and they have a dinner, usually a potluck up there, but this year we'll just sponsor a barbecue. We'll center it around the 10 to 3 o'clock time, and we'll let Michael get the other groups invited to have their tables and set it up. And the Casper Nordic Club can set up their table, tell everybody what they do, and have information about their events and the Learn to Ski program they have January, February. So if that's works for you, it works.
That works for me.
What's the date again? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
11th.
October 11th, Saturday.
I think that sounds great.
Okay. All right. So let's do that. let's set that on. Thank you.
I'd like to just ask the board and Mr. Tyler, if you could stay for a moment. We suggested 10 to 3. I'm thinking 4 to 5 hours, but if it works better for the Nordic Club, since they're stepping up on us, we could adjust those hours to a little later in the day if that's, more productive.
Yeah, we've got plenty of time to finalize the hours, so let me get back with Harry Brubaker and the club and see what works best for them and
That works.
work it with
Yeah,
them.
that's good for us. Okay.
The other thing about the Casper Mountain Trail Center is, in storage are some of the old decorations. Mr. Jim Miller might be able to speak on that a little better, what they are. Right now we have a blank slate. We don't have anything up there, but, I don't want to be the one to decorate. Let me say that. So, I'd like the board to be involved or, the board to decide who should be involved as to what should be put up from the old lodge into the new lodge and whatnot. We do have 3 couches that are in storage in my office that came out of the old lodge. I'm split on whether they should be there or not. Not because I want them in my office, but I just not sure if they fit. So, I definitely want guidance from this board as to how this should be decorated since it is a blank slate and we need to figure that out over time. So, Mr. Miller can kind of give you some details on what we currently have from the old lodge that we could decorate with.
Okay. Jim, would you mind coming up?
Jim Miller, 1301 Beaumont, representing the Casper Nordic Club. I guess I'm the decorating queen. Anyway, I've been asked by the community and also Michael, what we're going to do with the stuff that we took down off the walls from the old building. The county didn't have room or space to put a lot of the stuff that we took off the walls. And so the Nordic Ski Club took some of those items off. And I'll just pass it. These items were all donated by different community members. The skis and the snowshoes are older, antiquish type. And the community members who donated those would like those to be put back up. And if not, then I will get them back to the owners. There's also a couple of benches that were donated, wooden benches for, one was for a person up there that did a lot of work. He came over from the Alpine area to do the Nordic patrolling, and he passed away, and Joe Filer from Kelly Walsh built this nice looking bench, wooden bench. And he donated it to the lodge in the county. The other wooden bench is from the Duns. Is it the Duns? I'm not sure that's the name. Anyways, they donated it because he built it from the wood that came from Casper Mountain. It's all really nice put together. And he said, if we're going to have a wooden lodge, then we need to have a wooden bench in that lodge. And I will build it, and he put it together. And so those 2 benches are, I have them, I don't have them. We have storage up on the mountain with the school district, that's where they are right now. And then the skis, like I said, have been donated by different people that felt like they needed to have some Nordic stuff up there hanging off the walls. The Casper Nordic Ski Club will put those up there for you if you'd like to do that. We just need some guidance of what to do with those. The chairs that Michael just talked about and the couches were donated by Dr. Tobin, and he gave it to the county because there's a physical therapist that lived up there that went there quite often. He said, I want to have something around that fireplace. And he passed away before that happened. And Dr. Tobin came forth and donated those couches and whatnot. So the community has asked me, and number of community members has asked me is, what is the county gonna do with these things that were in the old building? I just need some guidance of what it is, what to do with them. And that will help Michael figuring out what we want to do with them. And if it's something you don't want up there at all, then I'll be responsible for getting them back to the owners.
My personal feeling is I like the skis and I like the snowshoes.
I think it really puts some character
History
into the
back
building.
in there and some character.
I agree.
Oh, I like those as well. Get those. I'd like to see what those benches look like, because I can't really place.
Come
where
on.
we can put 'em.
Yeah, Jim, we need pictures.
Yeah,
Show us pictures.
I'm not really sure where they'd go necessarily. As far as the couches, I don't know where.
Could go in the foyer type deal, for people coming in, putting on boots and stuff like that. Let's see.
We had the couches out there. That'd kind of mess up the floor planning for the tables and everything like that, wouldn't it, Michael? Or
The couches could work. It's a matter of, once it's reserved, we'll probably have to get some dollies to move those around easily. As for the wooden benches,
just
the building was designed with, granite built-in benches all around, so the vestibule really doesn't have space for wooden benches. The exterior would be better, but wooden benches aren't gonna last forever outside. So there's not a lot, there might be some space on the north wall in the banquet hall for those benches. So I just need some guidance and assistance as to where we should place these items if we place them. So,
One of us.
so what's your recommendation?
I guess let's,
There are guys that are going to be moving the furniture.
let's get it up there and see what it looks like. We have 10 round tables. They take up a good portion of space when they're all out, but we don't have to have them all out. Yeah, I can see what we can do. I mean, the couches can go up there. There's 3 of them. There's 2 love seats and a full couch. So it takes up a good amount of space around that fireplace. I know the kids loved them in the old lodge. They pile on them in front of the fireplace all the time. So yeah, I'm just not quite sure how it fits, but I definitely want to be able to put them up on a dolly so we can move them into storage when we needed to. Would be the only thing I'd ask for.
I'm a yes on the bench. I don't know on the couches. I said I'm a yes on the bench, but I'm not sure on the couches.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Can we get pictures of the couches as well, Michael? If you can send them to us,
Yes.
just so we have an idea what we're talking about. But I think those couches may interfere with the purpose of that thing.
So
Yeah, and the only reason they're in my office is when we removed that temporary shelter, we really didn't want to store them in a shop with heavy equipment and everything else. I figured the best place to store them was in a climate controlled office without a bunch of dust and mice and everything else. So that's the only reason they're down in my office.
okay.
All right, we'll get together and we'll start bringing stuff over and see what it looks like.
So would you like us to put those up, those skis and snowshoes? Would you like the ski club to put that up?
You're probably better at decorating than I am.
Yes, I am, excellent.
I have no doubt.
Okay.
That
I'll get with
wasn't a
Michael
question.
On that, and then the benches, I'll see if the owners that built those, if they want them back, and go from there.
Well, the benches we liked. the couches were the things that
You want the bench?
yeah, the couches are what we need to look at.
If you would work with Michael though, as far as the attachment points for the skis and stuff like that.
Yes, for mounting, I may request Garrett from building maintenance to assist. He's installed quite a few things in that building. We've got metal studs and I can probably wrangle them to help us mount stuff.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we move on from the trail center, I know there's issues that are associated with the parking lot up there. And what I'd like to see us do is get a elevation survey, which will actually tell us just exactly what the drainage is, what we need to do, and how to correct that. Gives us an idea, give us something, and an elevation survey isn't that expensive, because all you're doing is picking points and just getting what the elevation is, so we know what that drop is.
Do you want a controlled elevation survey across the entire parking lot or just where I've had water issues this spring?
We don't have to have it like every 10 feet or something like that, but we do need to know where, I mean, we can figure out approximately what the slope is and what that drop is and what we need to do as far as getting something moving forward. And, you know, if there's not a problem in that area, then that's one thing, but we still, just for a baseline, we need to have some idea of what we're looking at as far as how much runoff we've got, what percentage there is, because I don't know. Right now, I have no idea just exactly how much slope there is to that parking lot or anything else, and that may be something that we need to actually reduce the slope.
So what I'll do is I'll contact some of the survey firms in town. I'll request that
Like I
they
said,
do
all it
100,
would do is be an
150 foot
elevation.
wide, 50-foot cross sections, give
Yep.
us a topo of the areas of concern that we have issues with.
Yeah, because it's not, it doesn't have to be anything in great detail, just points with elevation, and that's it.
Okay.
That's all we're looking for. We're not looking for anything, not survey points, so it doesn't have to be perfect as far as the exact, quadrilateral.
The question, do you want a professional licensed surveyor to do this, or do you want just a capable, even a contractor that's capable of doing this?
If a contractor can do it, and just like I said, all I'm looking for is elevation points. Because that elevation point is gonna tell us exactly
Okay.
how much drop we have, what the slope is, the rise versus run, the whole bit, and that's what we have to have, so we know exactly what we need to do to move forward on getting that, you know, as far as additional material put on there or any kind of drainage or anything else that we need to do.
Okay.
That gives us some information that we're looking for. So everybody on board with that?
Okay.
All right.
As for reports, I just have a few things. We did get a few trees removed out of the Alcoa Trailer Park, starting on August 11th. I believe they finished that day. They may have been out the 12th. One of them was pressed up against the old bathhouse. So that was removed as a concern for that structure. And then two others were removed due to, heaving concrete. So that's been done.
Michael, one of the things that was brought up to me was that there was some possible concrete damage done next to the bathhouse by them when they removed the trees. Have you noticed that?
I have not been out there this week to see what they've done.
Okay, that's something, we need to get that so that we have that, contact them and make sure that we got that covered. I haven't been out there, but I got some pictures that were sent to me that showed that there some potential damage right there to the concrete bathhouse, and so we don't want to let that go. We want to make sure we've got that covered and taken care of. And if it was previous damage, then we can have,
Yeah, I can ask my staff. They may be aware of what's damaged there and not. I don't go around that bathhouse enough to be able to recall what the condition of the concrete was.
okay.
The cabin water septic study, water well and septic study. I have the draft. It's nearly complete. My goal is to get that to legal for a quick review. Get it to them tomorrow so they can review it next week. It's just an RFP that we're planning on sending out for advertisement. Dates, I'm expecting to do a pre-bid conference on site September 3rd. And then I think about 10 days later, expect to get their proposals. A few days after that, review them. And then I think the September meeting I'm hoping to get it in front of you guys for award to the consultant to do that study, that environmental assessment.
Okay.
I recently had a conversation with a gentleman from the Bishop's Trust. They own property within our ski area. As everybody's aware, there's a trail called Bishop's Loop. Our agreement with that trust is for winter use only of those trails. So I'll be having my staff up there next week marking that is not for private property, not for public use in the summertime. Our agreement's just for skiing. The owners of that trust, they have a cabin there and they use it in the summertime. And so they prefer not to have the traffic in the summertime, but they're amenable to us having our trails there across their property in the winter for people's use. And so they're going to be up and looking at some of those things, but that was the first step that I agreed to them is I'll get some signs up because there's quite a bit of foot traffic and bike traffic, and I'm not sure if our trails are actually labeled to not for public use in the summer, but I'll probably have an update with the bishops here in a few weeks, and I'll let the board know as that progresses. Other than that, that's all I have for my report. Are there any questions?
I only have a comment. We need to amend the budget for the concrete project.
Yes, we do.
Out at the trailer park.
Yeah.
So the bid came in high. We budgeted 15,000 for the concrete out at the lake. The bid came in higher than that, so I would move that we amend the budget to include the additional funds for the
So
out there.
my question here is, did he have?
But you were broken up.
Okay. So my question is, that was built into a line item in the budget. I believe the additional line item had some campground improvements there. So I don't know if we need to technically go to the commission to amend how that,
We do.
How
We
that's
need to go-
spent?
We need to go to the commission to have them amend the budget, is what it amounts to.
to add additional funds to it or to
Additional fu-
approve the way I'm spending it.
I'd add additional funds to it, do an amendment, a budget amendment is basically what it amounts to. And the commission has to be the ones that approve that, so we're initiating that step by doing this.
Okay. I just figured it falls under one line item. There's multiple items there. If we don't spend as much on the campground improvements to cover the 5 or 10 grand additional for the concrete, it's just there and spent different.
This was specifically, I know, but in that line item, we had that line item.
Right. I broke down that line item
Right.
requesting this, and these were my estimates, but
Yeah, we have the money in the lake budget, so we can do the allocation
Okay.
and adjust that. So, but we just need to make that motion so we can have the commission actually act on that and make that request.
okay.
So,
And that does come out of the lake budget.
yes, it does. So you're in favor. You in favor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear a motion or a second
Oh,
or
I
anything.
thought she made a motion, so.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
I
She
didn't hear
did,
it.
she was quiet,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
over here really quiet, so, okay, so we do have
So
the
I'd
motion.
second it then.
All right, so we do have the motion to bring.
Question. Do we need to specify that amount, whether it's, I think Michael said it's 5 or 10,000 over? Does that need to be specified in our recommendation?
It'll be 13,000 over what the 15,000 was to get us covered with the concrete removal and the concrete work itself.
I just thought maybe the motion should specify the amount, but I don't have a strong feeling, just wanted to see if we wanted to do that.
Okay, I'll ask Stacy if she'll amend her motion.
I move that we amend the budget to include the extra fees for concrete for an additional $13,000.
And the second agrees.
Okay, all right. Okay, did you catch all that, Peter?
I did, perfect, thanks.
Oh, okay, all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed?
Aye.
Okay, all right, we'll get that taken care of. All right, at this point in time, we'll move into public comment.
Keith Tyler again. Want to address the topic that Mike just talked about, the bishop. That's an agreement that goes way back, and we were really fortunate to have that agreement. The trail is called the Bishop's Loop because of that, and it crosses more than just the Bishop family property. It crosses another private cabin property location just to the north of Bishop's, and then it crosses several state lease cabin sites. And the agreements were always that it was just strictly a winter use trail. So I'm glad that Mike's addressing it and dealing with it. To have an agreement with Bishop and the other landowners on that trail.
I'd have to find another landowner.
Okay. Well, I can help you with that if you need it, but the old agreement should be in your file with Bishop's. But anyway, that is a very critical portion of the Nordic ski trail system, so we need to keep these people happy. Another topic that was brought up is that I want to weigh in on is the couches. It's really important, I think, for the feel of that lodge that there be some kind of easy chair, couches, lounge chairs, something that can be put around the fireplace that we were able to incorporate into the lodge at the last minute. It was really an important part of the old lodge, and it's just a welcoming feeling to be able to see, yeah, there's a place where you can sit around the lodge in comfort. So it may be a little bit of a room or a crowd issue on furniture, but I think it can be worked out. As for the existing furniture that's in Mike's office, I'm okay either way. It's pretty gaudy. It's really red, and it's probably bigger than what we need. But, 3 or 4 pieces up there, a couple of chairs and a couch would really be nice. So I'd like to hopefully see that still happen. And then I talked at the work session last month about this. I'm going to bring it up again. That parking lot, if you don't address it this fall, we're going to have a big mess next spring. And just grading it isn't going to solve the problem well enough that we won't have a problem in the spring. I know Mike has gone out and gotten some bids, and it sounds pretty reasonable to me, $20,000 to put in a valley pan, concrete valley pan that would serve as control points for that parking lot, as well as direct the water away from the parking lot, and in that process, prevent that water from creating a big canyon right in the middle of the parking lot. There's going to be a fair amount of water that drains through that parking lot. And if it's just going across dirt and gravel, it's going to start eroding that and just washing it down the rest of the parking lot and over the edge. So getting that valley pan in now before it's too late, in my mind, is a critical item. And I would sure suggest strongly that you figure out a way to get it done. And then one last item, I have a heads up. I don't know if it's out for public dissemination, but I have heads up that there may be a budget cut coming on grooming and part of it's directed at Rob's grooming in the biathlon area. You haven't made any decisions on it yet, obviously, but I want to weigh in and say that he needs to be adequately funded so that we can hold him accountable as well for doing the kind of grooming that the public is going to expect, both for biathlon activities and the general public. The ski teams, as Jessica pointed out, it's used by everybody, and the grooming needs to be done. I understand that it's hard for the county equipment to get over the hill early in the season, and there's also not enough man hours allocated to the county's equipment to do it during the rest of the season. But if you don't have adequate grooming there, you're going to have a lot of unhappy skiers. So just a heads up.
Hi, I'm Ron Kidder, 2178 Lake Creek out in Vista West 4. And I called in and talked to Mike Brown about the Vista West 4 park out there. And he told us to come down and be at the meeting. So I was kind of surprised to see we weren't on the agenda. So whether it was a miscommunication or whatever, but we have the executive board here from the Oil City Stars, which is a girls softball association. We have 5 teams, 10 and under through 16 and under, 54 girls in the program. And so we were interested in, using the park for practice facilities. And so, but Jeremy and Kelsey and Susie and Kayla are here if you guys have time that they'd like to talk on what we're interested in. And we thought everything was kind of set up for us to come in. And
I apologize. That's my fault.
okay, well, I didn't know whether. Okay, I didn't know whether I was in the culprit or what happened, but anyhow, I think this is a great program. I think I've been out there over 40 years in Vista West. That park's never been utilized. I practiced my baseball team out there when the kids were 10 and 12-year-olds. I think that's probably the last time it's ever been used. And Mike asked me what kind of equipment we might need or what kind of help, but we said maybe if they could just kind of blade the road in and blade the infields, and we'd work on getting some backstop, because I think we visualized maybe 3 fields out there, practice fields. There is no practice facilities in Casper, Wyoming. We got teams going to Glen Rock to practice. This is a great program. These girls travel all over. They play Colorado, Montana, South Dakota. They represent our community very well. So if you have a minute to talk to Jeremy or Kelsey and see what we could come up with, we'd sure appreciate it. And appreciate your time and anything that you could help us do. I think we could make that park at least not an eyesore, not a rattlesnake nest. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I suggest, thank you for coming. It really, I drive by it all the time and it just shake my head because it doesn't get used at all. It'd be amazing to see that park being utilized. But with that being said, what I think we need, sir, is maybe you to sit down, you and that group sit down with Michael, come up with a proposal, and some ideas to come to us with, just like the Eagle Scout did,
Sure.
right? And then we'd be able to have a good, intelligent discussion on proposed ideas rather than just shooting from the hip.
well, yeah, and that's kind of what I thought we were gonna, I was waiting on direction, which way you wanted us to go. And like I say, I didn't know who dropped the ball, but we do need to draw up something and at least ask for what kind of help we can get, what you're prepared to give to us. Because I think, like I said, I've been out there over 40 years, and it is an eyesore. And it could be a great practice facility. But are you open to us making the presentation?
I am.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. I know I've talked to Jeremy over the years and talked to Tony about it as well. And I think I think that's would definitely be a really good use for that piece of property. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that, but we do need to have something that we can see draw it out, get it out in front of us. We've got another meeting in a couple of weeks, and
Well, I hate to be talking for Jeremy and them, but I was the one that started, the conversation, and I'm not afraid to talk, so. But, I guess, Jeremy, is it okay? Can we get some stuff prepared, or?
Thanks, Ron. Jeremy Scribner, 1048 Cornwall Street. Yeah, like Ron said, and I know Dave, we've talked about possibly putting in 3 fields. So I would like to schedule a meeting, get with whoever. We can draw a rough plan, or what kind of plan would make you guys happy to move forward with something?
Yeah, we can meet, for sure. What I'd like to see is a site plan. Maybe what your proposed for maintenance, what your request of the county is for contribution. The budget's kind of tight, so we'll have to see what we can do. But, grading of the road, but if we're gonna have it, we do have irrigation rights to that property. We've continued to have those, so we can, have irrigation, but that then requires turf maintenance, and we need to know who's gonna do that. I don't have staff to do turf maintenance, so, those would be kind of your overall plan, what this group's gonna do, how you want it laid out, parking, those kinds of facilities, just what you guys' overall general plan is for the area.
Okay.
And then whether you want irrigation or not, or,
I think irrigation would be beneficial. Obviously, mowing, turf maintenance is gonna happen. Yeah, we can get together, maybe get a site plan laid out, elevations, parking area, 3 fields, where that would be. And I think this would be a good thing for the community in Vista West as well. So
yeah, call me in my office next week and we'll set up a time to sit down and, if you need help drawing it up, or if we need to be on site walking around, I can assist with that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a great plan, and let's get it going and get it in front of these guys to approve, so we can start moving dirt pretty soon.
Or snow.
Or snow. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Thanks, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So I really like the idea. It's kind of like how the city has softball fields or whatever. But somebody brought up a good concept that we need to think about too, is liabilities and stuff like that while you're doing that, Michael. So we need to have those discussions as well with the teams and whoever's working on that, as well as the maintenance liabilities, the whole 9 yards.
Right, and I'll talk with risk management and legal about some of the implications of this type of activity on there. I think we're probably covered, but I'll have those conversations with them, so.
I mean, so far this has been a weed field, so if we
Right.
can designate it as the volleyball thing for Natrona County, that would, at least it's being used, and that'd be awesome.
Softball.
Softball, whatever. Ball.
Like 30 years.
So. All right.
Nicole Creamer, 4010 West 39th Street. I think most of you probably know who I am and know that I'm a former board member of Casper Mountain Biathlon Club. I'm not up here to re-air all of that dirty laundry from previously. I would state that I agree with what Leif said. The biathlon venue is a gem, and we need to take care of it, and that has not been happening. I think that some people in the community have been led to believe that this meeting was called because the county wants to shut the venue down. So I just would like, maybe during public comments, you guys could all respond to that, that perceived threat, which I don't believe is there. But I do think that there is a need to have more accountability. And we've heard much of the same thing that we heard today has been said for the last 4 or 5 years. And at some point, something needs to be done to change operatorship of the venue. So I would just highly encourage you to take more action to hold the club accountable. Call in their board, their whole board. Are they actually having board meetings? Ask for the meeting minutes. I think that the time has come that there needs to be more verification for what's going on. And just one side comment, as you also know, I had 2 kids in the biathlon club. They're both in high school now, and one is racing Nordic and one has lost interest, but it's not really my issue anymore. It's more my issue as a taxpayer and just a recreationalist, that I think that that venue needs to be taken care of. And one comment on the range times, I think Saturday from 10 to 12 is a awful time to hold open range, because a lot of what you're going to be targeting are recreationalists who, a lot of people have their kids in sports during that time, and I don't know that that would be the greatest time. It used to be Sunday afternoons. That's all my comments for today, but thank you for paying attention.
Nicole, I will tell you that I don't think there's any desire to close that down. The desire is to make it operational in an efficient and good manner for the entire community.
Thank you, Chairman North.
Again, Austin Burgess, 615 South Beach. I forgot my address last time. So, Central Wyoming Trails Alliance Executive Director, I want to give you guys a quick update, and I know we're kind of, this meeting's kind of been long tonight. We've reached some major milestones this summer already since our last meeting. We've actually been able to connect the main trail over to Eadsville and the 2 locations that were on the master plan. And we're going to be doing a trail fill. We ran into a lot of rock. That's what big, some feedback we got were it's too rocky up there. Well, yeah, it's the mountain. But we're going to do our best to try to make it a little bit smoother, to not be quite so treacherous on the mountain bikes and even the trail runners. Working directly with Michael Brown on some site fill material that we're able to locate up there. That's let's see, was taken out of the parking lot of the lodge. And so we're going to be able to repurpose that material. It's actually sitting up at the slash pile right now, and we're going to be doing a site fill. And it's going to be a great contrast to the area, using the red dirt against the white rock and the green foliage up there. So that'll be really good. We're looking for doing a grand opening probably in, I'm hoping September. I was kind of hoping that we could have jumped on to the October 11th for a grand opening for trails, but being that, the focus is going to be on the Nordic Club, we're going to bow out of that one and we'll do our own grand opening for trails. So we don't want to take any grandeur away from that. Other than that, I just wanted to report that, this summer's been a great one, a great continued partnership with the county. Great working with you guys too. Appreciate the quick approval of a project. And do you have any questions for us and for what we're doing?
I appreciate everything you guys have been doing. I really do, Austin. And that's made the mountain a whole lot more accessible and a lot more usable for a lot of different groups. And I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that I don't think that we had installed last time, we do have a trail counter up at the Skunk Hollow parking lot trailhead. It is a state borrowed, so it's a state outdoor recs trail counter. They'll be pulling the data off of it when snow flies, so we can actually capture some good data on how many people actually are up there. Obviously, there's issues with how many times people go across it, stuff like that. It's fairly hidden, so people don't know, so we can't manipulate data that way. But it is up there, so we'll be coming this fall with some really good data for you guys. So,
okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So,
yep,
I do have a suggestion, maybe later this year, next year, whenever. Maybe get with Michael to be able to present the information, but maybe come to this board at some point with what you're about, what projects or what your is for, what you've done in the past and what you're projected to do in the future and future projects, what you want to do. And just so this board with new people and as people migrate off, they have that information and can be more familiar with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, being a new board, absolutely, that's going to be vital to continued partnerships. So I'll get with Michael and get on the agenda for basically a CWT introduction and kind of our what we're all about. So I definitely appreciate that.
That'd be awesome.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Austin.
Hi, Cassidy Jerding, 2141 Mariposa. I'm with Kelly Walsh Nordic Ski Team. I'm also a board member of the Casper Nordic Club, and I'm a board member of the High Plains Nordic Ski Association, which is a regional team for junior racers, sanctioned through USSA. So a couple things. I know the couches have been mentioned a couple times. Mike mentioned it, when his daughter Isabel was on the team. That was a really special part of the old lodge. And like Keith said, I'm not tied to the 3 couches that are in Mike's office, but considering that we don't have a concessionaire up there, I don't really see on just the regular weekend where there's not an event, I don't think that those 10 tables are going to be full of people just sitting around. But if there were a couple couches in there around the fireplace, I really do think people would go in there and hang out. And so if there's a dolly or some easy way to move them out for when there are catered events, then I think that would be really nice to put the couches back in. The grooming, Keith told me that there was going to be, potential cuts to grooming, and I just wanted to reiterate how important the grooming is on the biathlon side, especially in a low snow year. So last season, it wasn't a huge deal. We had decent snow early on by the Trails Center. And, Mike's crew was able to do a good job with that snow. But the previous year, when we had hardly any snow at all, we used the heck out of the biathlon area early, really almost all season, because we had such low snow on the Nordic side. So, I know that money's tight, but if we can keep, quality grooming over there, I think a lot of people use that area. And then Nicole mentioned something about the range times, not to be nitpicky, but if Rob is actually trying to rebuild, because you asked how many athletes he had, and I don't want to misrepresent that, but my understanding is 0 junior athletes last year. His pool is going to come from the school programs. The range time he's proposing directly conflicts with our practice schedules. So Sunday would be much better if he can do open range on Sundays, because we never practice on Sundays. So just maybe something for you guys or him to consider. So that's all.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Board comments? Peter, have you got anything?
Thanks, Dave. I'd just like to say that I'm really grateful for the community and the members of the public coming out and talking to us about stuff that's not on our radar, like the Vista West Park. I'm really grateful for Central Wyoming Trails Alliance in Austin. I ran that trail as he was cutting it in, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so. And it's just glorious back there, and it's opened up some nice areas. So thanks to him and that organization, they've done a lot for us. And so that's just a great partnership. And I'm glad that the Nordic Club once again has stepped up. They did on the fireplace, and now they are with the barbecue on the 11th. And anyway, that's a great group there too. So anyway, there's a lot of good going on because of the people helping our parks out. So thanks to them. That's it.
Jim?
I think this is one of the better park meetings that has occurred recently. A lot of good discussion, a lot of people that came to talk and see what was going on. So I really do appreciate that. Shy of that though.
Stacy?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out and sharing your comments. I really appreciate your feedback and really looking forward to what we're going to be doing. So that's all.
I do appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and the comments were good. That gives us something to look at, goals that we can achieve, that we can move forward toward. I'm also happy that they're getting the study done in the cabin area out at the lake for the water and the sewer, and I'm also happy that we're moving forward on the sidewalks and the trees in the trailer park and trying to get some stuff taken care of out there that that's been on the radar for a long time. So other than that, I appreciate everybody coming out. I do appreciate Austin and everything that Central Wyoming Trail Alliance has done for the county. And other than that,